Hey guys, Satish here. This is chapter 3. Don't forget to watch chapter 2 before this. I will share the link for chapter 2 in the description below. Now let's look at capacitors. Capacitor is a component which will store charge in an electromagnetic field. So capacitor application broadly can be classified into DC application where it will be used to store charge, and in AC application where it will be used as filter. Let's get into DC application first. Let's assume V1 is a source which is fluctuating, or it comes on, goes off, but you want to supply current continuously to the load. So what we will do is we will use a capacitor. So what will happen is when V1 is there, it will give supply to the load and also charge the capacitor. So when V1 goes off, whatever charge is stored in this capacitor will be given to the resistor. So continuously we will be able to provide charge to the load. So let us simulate and see how this works. So you might be thinking, why have I used this diode here? So or else what will happen is whatever it has charged when it was there will get discharged when this V1 supply is not there. So basically this source also will act as a load when it is turned off. Yeah, now let's simulate it. So I'll go for we'll use a pulse source. Pulse source, it will be on for certain amount of time, off for certain amount of time. So low voltage, off voltage is 0, on voltage is 1, start immediately, rise time, fall time 1 microsecond, pulse with 50, means 50% of the time it will be on, 50% of the time it will be off. Frequency, let's see, 50 Hertz. Let me place a component diode, component capacitor, resistor. Don't worry about the values of this component right now. When we start designing, I'll tell you how to select value of individual component. So now we have to use a ground. Okay, we will use oscilloscope to see the waveform. So first channel I'll give it to the input, second channel to the output. Let's start the simulation. Yeah. It's always keep this in DC. So I'll give you a full demo how to use an oscilloscope. I'll make a lab session like how I'm making chapters. There I'll explain each and every option of the oscilloscope and how to use it properly. Okay. Now what happens is this yellow is the input and blue one is the output. So let me make capacitance 0. Let me close this. Stop the simulation. Let's make it 0 microfarad. There is no capacitance. Simulate it. It has started simulation. If it doesn't show the oscilloscope, you can go to view, debug, oscilloscope. It will show here. See, without any capacitance, the input and output will be the same. So both, is that also 5 volts? 5 volts. Okay. Input and output are the same. So now let's put back our 1 microfarad and start the simulation. Now what has happened is The input came, the capacitor got charged, it is there, it is there. So when the input turned off, the energy stored in the capacitor was discharging. Okay, so this is the slope. Slowly the energy stored was completely discharged, and by the time the next pulse came. So if you want to have a flatter DC, means you don't want all this ripple, then what you can do is you can increase the capacitance. So let me change to 10 microfarad. It now basically it means it can hold more and more charge. See, it's almost a flat line. Basically it is able to hold more charge. Okay, why I have used this diode is, or else what will happen, when it was charging it will charge here, and when this supply turns off it will discharge this way. So using this diode, this capacitor will not discharge this way, it will discharge into the load. So that's how we use capacitor to store charge. Now let's see how it is used as filters in AC application. Let's quickly simulate a circuit where we can show how capacitors can be used to filter out AC component. So for this, let's use two AC sources and combine it. Generator, sine. I'll use two sine source. In one, I will generate a 10 volts, 100 hertz symbol. In the other one, let me generate the amplitude same 10 volt and 1 kilohertz signal. So let me use a resistor to combine both of them. You see the resultant here. So I'm using a resistance, or else what happens is these two supplies will get short circuited if I don't use this, because when this is high and this is low, it's like a short circuit. I'll connect this. Again, don't worry about all the values of current resistors which I am using. When we get into design, we will select the values. I should tell you how to select the values. Let's use oscilloscope again. This is this point will have the output. See, this is yellow is the 100 hertz signal, blue is the 1 kilohertz signal, and this is a superimposed signal. That is basically this 1 kilohertz signal has been superimposed on the 100 hertz signal. Okay, let's just increase the frequency to 10 kilo. You will see now this is 100 hertz, 10 kilohertz. This is the output waveform. This plus this. You can see that there is a slide. This signal has been superimposed on this. Now what we will do is we will build a low pass filter so that we get back this 100 hertz signal. We will remove the 10 kilohertz signal from this output. That is, the red one is the output. Let me stop this. Let me build a low pass filter. This is a low pass filter that will allow the lower frequency to pass through it while blocking the higher frequency. Let me change this value. As I mentioned again, don't worry about all these values which I am entering. We'll get to it later. Now just to explain the concept. Okay, before that, let's see the output here. See, this was 100 Hz signal input, this was 10 kilohertz, this was at this point where these two were superimposed, and after this low pass filter I was able to filter out the 10 kilohertz symbol. So this way you can use capacitor to filter out AC signals. Okay, now let's look at specification of a capacitor. You have to tell what is the capacitance. Here 1 microfarad, 100 microfarad, 1000 microfarad, you have to mention the capacitance. Voltage. So let's assume in this application your maximum voltage comes to 100 volts. So you have to select a capacitor where the capacitance, the capacitor rated voltage is above 100 volts. If you use a lower voltage, the capacitor will explode because the dielectric won't be able to handle the voltage difference. Yeah, there are different types of capacitors like aluminum electrolytic capacitor, disc capacitor, tantalum capacitor. So you will have to select which one you want. So generally for rectification we will use aluminum electrolytic capacitors. Then there is packaging. There are like different packages, like through hole capacitor, SMD capacitors. So you have to also define what kind of package you want. So to buy a capacitor you need to know all these things. So now let's look at a capacitor data sheet. Let's again go back to Mouser. Let's select a 1000 microfarad 16 volt electrolytic capacitor. You can select this data sheet. Yeah, if you come to the data sheet, there are a few things. One is the operating temperature. Generally, most of them are rated to operate at 85. There are some military grade where it can operate at higher temperatures. Then it's the diameter of the capacitor. Then there is tolerance here. Tolerance means if you buy a 100 microfarad capacitor, it can be up to 120 volts on the higher side or up to above 80 volts on the lower side. Again, the voltage. Always make sure that you select a capacitor that is higher than the circuit voltage. If it is lower, it will explode. Then also one more thing, this electrolytic capacitor never connect in reverse. Even then it will explode. Okay, that's capacitor, and this is the size of the capacitors. Now let's look at an inductor. Inductor is a component which stores energy in the form of a magnetic field. So when current is flowing through the inductor, it will generate a magnetic field around it. So this magnetic field will store the energy. How capacitor was storing energy as a electric field, inductor will do it in the form of magnetic field. So in case of a capacitor, it was acting as a voltage source. So capacitor was acting as a voltage source. Inductor will act as a current source. So let's understand how it works. And as per Lenz's law, it will oppose the change of current through it. Now let us understand how it works. Now let's assume this pulse is on. A current will start flowing in this direction through the inductor, through the load and back into the source. So there will be no current through this diode. This diode is called a freewheeling diode. Now I'll explain why it's called a freewheeling diode, and currently this diode is inactive because it's reverse biased. So now when the current is flowing, there is a magnetic field produced around this inductor and there is an energy stored to it. Now let's assume this pulse stops. So now what happens, as soon as this source of this current, if it was not an inductor, would have become immediately to 0. Now because of the inductor and it has some energy stored in it in the form of magnetic field. Now as per Lenz's law, it will oppose the change of flow of current. So the current cannot become 0. So what it will do is, it will generate an voltage in this polarity so that it is still able to maintain 1 amps of current flowing through it. Now let's assume this was a 1 ohm resistor. So it will generate instantaneously at this point when the power turned off, it will generate 1 volt so that 1 amps continues to flow through the inductor. So if it was a 100 ohm resistor, at that instant when the power turned off, it will generate 100 volts because it has to make sure that 1 amp still continues to flow through it, and based on the amount of energy it stores in it, it will try to maintain that current. So the current will start gradually from when 1 amp was going to gradually decrease and become to 0. So this time will depend upon how much energy it can store, that is the inductance of the inductor. So now when the supply turned off, this polarity, because of this positive polarity, this diode will get forward bias and the current will freewheel through this path. That is why it is called as freewheeling diode. Now let's simulate this and see how this happens. Okay, let me open Proteus. Let me put a V pulse. 10 volts. Frequency, let's go for some 10 kilohertz. Let's place a diode. I'll place a freewheeling diode also. Component. Inductor. This will be the load resistance. Let's assume it was a 100 ohm. So I'll use another current sensing resistor. So all these equipments like oscilloscope, it can only measure voltage. So whatever if you want to measure current, we use a very small resistor and then measure the voltage across it and get the current. So I'll use this will be called as a current sensing resistor. So the value of this will be very small so that it does not affect. So if this is like 100 ohm, this will be like 0.1 ohm or 1 ohm. It will be very small. So I'll consider a case of 1 ohm. So then we need terminal, ground. Let me connect everything. Again, any parameter. Now it's not only for for if you. So if all the instruments will measure only voltage, let it be if you want measure temperature light intensity or anything, you have to convert it into voltage. Even for if you measure the current, you have to convert it into a voltage. So we will, in this case, we are using a current sensing resistor. And let's use a oscilloscope. We'll just make sure our supply is working. Now I have changed some capacitance, resistors and the frequency value so that you can see the waveform in an oscilloscope. Don't worry, again, don't worry about the values. Let's start simulation. So now the yellow one is the input. The input is coming on, going off, coming on, going off. The red one is the voltage across R1. So the current will also be following the same path, the same shape. So when the pulse came, the current started increasing. At this point, when the pulse turned off, the current, let's assume, was 1 amps. If it was not for the inductor, it would have dropped straight down. And this slope also would not have been there. It would have been followed the same waveform. Now let's consider this point where the pulse just comes on. At this point, let's assume the inductor current was 0. Lenz's law tells us that the magnitude of the current cannot change immediately. So what will happen is the inductor will produce a voltage which will oppose the change of current. So the current also will gradually increase and it hits the peak value. At this point, the supply turns off. So after this point, as I showed earlier, as I showed on the slide earlier, it will produce a polarity in the opposite direction. So it has to maintain the same current at that instant of time. But the energy stored will slowly keep on decreasing. So the current value will also slowly keep on decreasing and become 0. So this is how an inductor will work. The inductor will work as a current source. So at any point where you want the current to be constant, you can put an inductor. So small fluctuations in the load or the source, the stored energy inductor will take care of that and maintain a constant current. So if you want a constant voltage, use a capacitor, which will work as a voltage source. Now let's look at what are the specifications for the inductor. One is the inductance that you have to specify in farad. Then the current. We have to specify what will be the current rating of the inductor. If let's assume we have bought a 1 amps inductor. If we exceed that current rating, the inductor will get into saturation mode. At this point, it will no longer work as an inductor. It will just work as a piece of wire. Then there is type of inductor, whether it is a air core inductor or a ferrite core inductor. That's with the type of inductor. Then there is a package, whether it is an SMD package, what kind of mounting does it have. Then let's open a data sheet of an inductor and just see what are the parameters. Let's go and check out in Mauser. I will use 100 microfarad inductor. There are a lot of filters here. You can choose which kind of, let's use a fixed inductor. Let's build a 1000 or 100 microfarad, 100 microhenry, and we want 1 amps. So 1 amps. You can apply filter. Then you can see all the inductors that comes under this, and you can select one of the data sheets. Yeah, the inductance value is here, 100 microfarad. Again, tolerance is the accuracy which you will get. Then this is a rated current. So that's how you select a component in Mauser and just check out the data sheet also.